Brock Lesnar is all elite at getting money, something he won't be doing in AEW.
Pro Wrestling Bits. Subscribe now.
Class is in session, and today's professor is the most savvy independent contractor that pro wrestling and combat sports have ever seen. Part independent contractor, part trained mercenary with a nose for a payday, Brock Lesnar has entered free agency at a time that WWE is making more money than it ever has. And if you think that's a coincidence, you'll never make that Brock Lesnar money. Brock Lesnar has played Dana White like a fiddle for years in free agency, using UFC as leverage to milk WWE for the best deal possible. But now Brock has a new bargaining chip for his cash diet, and that man is Tony Khan. Tony Khan declined to comment on Brock Lesnar's contract situation, raising speculation that maybe AEW is negotiating with Brock. Cha-ching! Brock Lesnar is the king of the free agent flex, but this time around, the media hype machine and John Jones are doing all the heavy lifting for him. He didn't even have to pull some publicity stunt, like filming himself working out in a Jaguars jersey. Shout out to them. WWE has too much money for Brock Lesnar to leave on the table, but Brock's not going to stop multiple suitors from vying for his services, because that's just more money Brock can bully out of WWE. Not UFC, Brock is 43 and not even in the USADA testing pool. And not AEW, because even with a serious offer, they would get outbid by Vince McMahon in a bigger and better deal with more cash money, which is exactly what Brock Lesnar wants. If AEW somehow did land Brock Lesnar, they'd break their back spending money to get him, leaving them weaker financially, which is exactly what Vince wants. But Brock isn't here for a wrestling war, to stick it to Vince, or any of that post-WWE fan fiction for a Jericho podcast. Brock is here to get paid, and he gets that bag better than anybody in wrestling. Free agency season is Brock Lesnar's annual time of the year to show the wrestling world how contract negotiations are done. How Brock Lesnar goes about his business over the next month or so will be an exercise in financial freedom. Brock should serve as a life lesson to every WWE superstar under contract who is at the mercy of an edict that is making them legitimately question whether or not they own their real names. The next headline you read about what Brock Lesnar makes from a cash-rich WWE with his real name needs to be a wake-up call as to how to own, cultivate, and negotiate your name. Short contracts, developing a brand that you own, and learning multiple skills that increase your value to the wrestling industry are just some of the main ingredients that Brock Lesnar has used to make sure he works as little as possible for as much money as possible. Because at the end of the day, Brock Lesnar is a worker. And some of the biggest and richest workers in wrestling have used the same dirty little tricks Brock does to keep themselves on top, and more importantly, to get themselves paid. Brock Lesnar isn't going anywhere. This is what he does to get the most money out of Vince McMahon that he can, because he knows his worth, and as a result, he'll be using Vince as an ATM till he's 53. Not a bad retirement plan for an independent contractor.